Happy Friday and Merry almost Christmas. That's coming up here pretty quick. We decided to do our stream early today so that we could get on with the Christmas planning and get ready for the holiday. I still have some fudge to make, famous Landscar family fudge, my mom's recipe. So I gotta take care of that. And yeah, family starting to come into town, so starting early. But we wanted to talk a little bit about goals today, 2023 goals, and the New Year's resolutions. And wanted to also give you an offering at the end. So Dan, let's start with some goals of yours. We just did some of our business planning in the last couple of weeks. We've spent a lot of time, with other people helping us get clear on the direction of Dan Kramer Inc. So uh, let's just talk about goals for 2023. What are some goals for 2023 for you and for Dan Kramer Inc.
Yeah, the big goals for the company, we're building out just three different avenues is kind of how we broke it down for clients. A lot of, we help people in personal finances. So the goal is to create like information that people can have. A lot of times, our first few meetings, we're just educating people on principles and basics. So we're creating a course and we're either going to give it away or, for low cost. We'll see how that goes. Also writing a book. So a lot of this is to build the brand. Like we have goals around how many people we can reach. We want to build out a brand, but we also want to have the ability to service more people. And then obviously the big news for Ben's becoming my integrator. So if you guys read the book or Rocket Fuel, there's visionaries and integrators. And I think it's pretty unique and pretty rare in my industry. A lot of times in financial advisors, financial planners, they're one-man shops. They service people, they sell stuff, and then they retire. And there's no really succession planning. There's no business being built. So we're really intentional this year about let's build a system in this business that can run with or without me. And Ben's going to be a huge part of that. He's going to take the crazy ideas and actually help us implement them really so we can service people better. I mean, if you're listening and you're like, I know you, Dan, and you got a lot of ideas. Some of them get followed up on, some of them don't. Sometimes the service is okay, sometimes it falls through. I'm aware of that, right? That's a classic visionary moment. And so Ben's going to help us implement a smooth system. And if we have a magic wand in a year from now, we're talking about this, like we have the capability to service people at the highest level from start to finish. It's laid out. There's clear expectations and results are happening. So that's a huge goal for us. Actually walking people physically through our model and helping them in their personal finance. The process is going to get smoother. And then we're also building a third category for those high net worth clients that just need tax planning, asset protection services, all this stuff, and putting a team together to be able to service those as well. That's one of our big goals. And then, I'll kick it back to you, but we also have this thing in real estate that we're building that I'll share here in a minute. But how about back to you? What was your big takeaway from our team building, goal setting exercises this last couple of weeks?
Yeah, the big picture is, being able to service more people at a higher level, and without us having to work 80 to 100 hours a week. So how can we help the most people possible? And so a lot of that is going to revolve around the content that we create, the book, the courses, and really just be able to help more people. I mean, that's the whole vision. And I think for that there's just a lot of there's a lot of pouring into the foundation and into the systems and processes. And, I mean, for me, that's really kind of my area, is really having those systems, developing them over this next year, so that by the end of next year, it's very seamless. People can, if we add another assistant, a second, third assistant, whatever the case is, it's all smooth. They know how to operate it. They can come in and seamlessly help and give our clients and the people who follow us the highest level of service possible. Um, and so my goals aren't so much wrapped around like the revenue. Obviously, as we create these systems and are able to service more people, revenue goes up. But we spend a lot of time talking about the real estate side of Dan Kramer Inc. and wholesaling. So speak a little bit about some goals there, and maybe talk a little bit about what wholesaling is, because maybe a lot of people don't know what wholesaling of real estate is.
Yeah. So if you've ever bought or sold a house, there's a transaction that takes place, right? You agree on a price, somebody buys it, you get money. Well, wholesaling is kind of like, it's a marketing company, essentially. We're going to say, hey, we'll buy your house cash, make it easy, make it seamless. So people go, yeah, that sounds good, right? So we agree on a price. I send them a contract. A true wholesale is then I find a buyer, right? So I buy it at this price, I sell it at this price, and I physically never take ownership of the property. I just I find a good deal for a buyer and a good deal for a seller, and you make a little money in between. So we're building out wholesaling, where Allison's going to be primarily handling some of that stuff. And we're also doing flips, right? Flips, or we hold the property. So this is more of a real estate discussion, but we want to have multiple avenues to make sure we make money if we do buy a property, right? So maybe we I got a guy on the team named James. James is going to kind of be our project manager as I train him in. So he's going to go to the property and assess it and be like, yeah, I think we should keep this property. Let's flip it and then sell it, or let's flip it, or let's improve it and then rent it out, right? So those are a few avenues we're building out. Why is that important? In my head, I just meet a lot of people and they want to get into real estate, or they want a locally owned safe investment that they can stick some money into and make returns. Well, on my flips, even I've done a handful of them this year, I'll message out to some clients that really are interested in that. They'll send me some money. I use that money to do the property. When I sell the property, they get their money back plus part of the profit. So they get to taste real estate. And to Ben, back to Ben, Ben's going to help make sure they can feel the process from start to finish, so they can learn, how did I analyze the deal? How did I buy it? How was the renovation process? What are some things to think about? What are capital gains? So it's all based back on Dan Kramer Inc., is trying to educate people on how to make better financial decisions, right? And so this will be an avenue for people to invest in eventually. If you're a client of mine, it's not open to like the public or anything, but it's clients and close friends can take part in some of these investments as we grow it out. So we got some big goals there too. I mean, we're going to expand into actually Ben's backyard down there in Omaha. We're going to start doing some real estate transactions down there. We've already been doing it for over a year up here and kind of proving out the model. We sold a handful of houses. We bought a couple. And then as we get smoother and better at it, it's the same thing. It's build out the systems, delegate, bring on more people, and be able to really build it and step away. That's what I like. Maybe it's my short attention span or shiny object syndrome, but it's like build it, implement, step away, and make sure it runs. So some big goals there. Pretty excited about, and obviously trying to incorporate the entire team into that endeavor is kind of what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, and that just kind of goes back to You look at Rich Dad Poor Dad, the cash flow quadrant. By actually making your business be able to run without you, now you fall into a business owner category instead of a self-employed person. I know lots of business owners who they're really self-employed, because if they were to leave their business for an extended period of time, the business would fall apart. So, being able to build those processes and just having the ability to do that is going to allow you to move on to that investor business owner side of the quadrant. Just wanted to throw that out there. But so back to 2023 planning. We got some big goals. We wrote out a bunch of them. We spent 3 hours the other night just really honing in on what are our goals and what are we going to do in this first quarter of 2023 to start the ball rolling towards those goals. So Dan, talk about maybe the importance of writing goals down, looking at them every day, because that was part of our commitment in reaching some of these goals is, hey, we're going to keep these written. We're going to keep them front of mind. So that every morning when we wake up, they're there. We know what we're going after, we're going to get. Just speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, so I'll kick it back to you real quick before I dive into some of the fun parts of the goal writing, the process, how it works. But what was the craziest part? I mean, there's 4 of us in that 3-hour session, and at the end, I kicked it back to you guys and told you if we hit some crazy metrics, you guys get bonuses from the company. I mean,
yeah,
they were kind of big goals, right? I mean,
you
want to share? Like, if you hit certain metrics next year at this time, what are you getting from Dan Kramer Inc.?
Well, I'm getting a ride in this plane right here. That's the one thing I said I wanted to get, and a new truck. I mean, that was the other big one. If we hit some of these goals, I mean, it's going to be, we're all going to make a lot of money. We're going to help a lot of people, and we're just gonna create a lot of value. But yeah, I mean, truck was a big one. New truck. I mean, that's pretty big. That gets me pretty excited.
Yeah, and for me, I personally like to think, well, if I do well and I create value and I service people, the way I want to, like, I think it's important to have rewards to shoot for, right? And so I thought it was fun. I've never really done it quite that way with the company before as I built it. So I'm excited to see where it goes. It definitely kept me up that night thinking of all the logistics of what I just promised. But I'm like, hey, if we hit those goals, I want to pour it all back into the company to get them moving and to keep them motivated. So I'm excited. But back to it. One of the stipulations I gave the team is, I'm giving everyone 1 or 2 of these for Christmas. It's a planner, right? And what it is, when you write down your goals and you keep them front of mind, it's more likely to happen, right? Anybody kind of, you're listening this far, you're obviously into self-education and personal growth. This is a big part of it. So, you lay out your next day, every hour you kind of give a task, give a goal, what you're going to go for. And then on the next page, it says, write down your goals. So they don't have to be the same every day. They can be some long-term goals, some short-term goals. I personally like to break them up from time to time on the 4 F's: faith, family, fitness, and finance. Write out where am I at and where do I want to go? And what is a goal to help me get closer to that? So it's all about intentionality. After that, you write out like a quote. That's a reminder for me that I should be reading something, I should be learning, and then I try to pull a quote out that I liked or a concept. I'll write that there. Then there's a section called task. right? So the night before, I almost use this as like a brain dump. What are all the things that I need to be doing, or that's on my mind, or that's kind of urgent, right? Or not even urgent, but I know I need to get done. Then I'll circle a couple of them, be like, hey, I need to get those done. Those are the first things I'm going to do tomorrow, right? And then that's it for the day. You follow your plan, you look at it from time to time, make sure you stay on track. And then in the evening, there's a section on the same page called successes. All right. Write out how you did. Doesn't matter if it's one big thing you did, write it out. Reward yourself on successes because that builds momentum. Writing it down to do it and then actually doing it is literally the key to success. I don't know. I mean, if someone said, hey, what's the key to success? Following through on what you said you're going to do, right? It'll build momentum and it gets easier and easier and easier. And it builds a habit where you get to the point where you just, if you say you're going to do it, you're going to do it. And that builds massive trust with people, right? And when you have people's trust and you have the habit of following through, you can accomplish anything. So anyway, I'll jump off the soapbox there. And then you write your goals down again. So it's a lot of goal writing. And I just told the team, dude, if you guys do this and you have a 75% follow through on completing this, that's one of the criteria of getting the bonuses. But they're big bonuses, but this will actually help them accomplish their bonuses because it's going to make them focus and it's going to make them intentional. So I'm pretty excited about that. Back to you guys, if you're listening, like hopefully if anything I said make any sense, great, but I'm going to give this away. Right. And Ben, what are the stipulations for them I'll send this to you. There's no catch. There's no send me money for shipping. I'll pay for shipping. The book is free. But Ben, what do they have to do to get it?
Just comment on this live stream. Comment some of your 2023 goals, and we'll throw your name in a hat, draw the name, and whoever wins it is going to get a 10x planner. And yeah, like Dan said, we'll mail it to you. So yeah, if you're listening to this, write some of those goals in the comments and share this out so we can get a few people looking at it. And yeah, let's get those goals achieved for 2023.
I love it. Cool, man.
All right. Well, everyone have a great Christmas, and we probably won't be talking to you next week, but we'll be coming back at you the following week. So